Jack straight up blames Pine and Zubul for being the reason behind all the problems in the digital circus. It even kind of makes sense, because based on the past events in the circus, and even the early episodes, you can tell they were living in conditions where Jax actually felt comfortable. He never wanted to leave the digital circus, at least cause of serious issues in the real world. We know Jax was a loser, and the digital circus was the only place that gave him at least some kind of enjoyment. He wanted this place to be a bit more fair, so he hated Kane for constantly lying, but he definitely didn't want to leave the circus. Now there's nothing left of the digital circus in the way Jax used to know it, and that uncertainty mixed with anger, sadness, and fear is exactly why, at least for the first half of episode 9, he left Jax alone. I feel like at the beginning of the final episode, we're going to get a scene where we hear the real Jax, the Jax who hates Tommy and Zubul for all of this, hates the others for constantly supporting the so-called rebellion, hates Kane for all the lies, and hates himself for what happened to Ribbit. However, it's important to understand that even though Jax is a weak character, he's definitely not an idiot.
Hey guys, this is some fun right now, relaxing right now because I did some stuff I had to do. So I'm having a little bit of fun. I'm answering you guys' questions and stuff you guys want to say. I'll read it. Answer it.
All the negativity coming from Jax in the first half of episode 9, the other characters will be able to understand him and accept him. Maybe after all the honesty, after some heartfelt conversations, Jax will finally be able to drop that mask and become himself, and that will be a huge win, at least for him. In that same teaser, you can see Pomni standing in the center, and yeah, it's a small detail, but once again, it proves that she's going to be the main driving force in trying to find a solution to the problem, and maybe even escape the digital circus. Pomni has a couple of insanely important qualities that won't let the others lose faith in a better outcome. Pomni always takes on the role of a leader. She's not afraid to take responsibility for others. She's genuinely sincere with her emotions, and at the same time, Pomni cares a lot about literally every
Hello.
single character. Of course, the recent events are going to throw her into complete shock. And
I missed reading my comments really quick. I was reading some stuff on my phone here. I get comments all the time. I'm just reading them real quick.
intuitively understands
Okay.
how the digital circus works. Things some couldn't figure out for years, she learned on her very first day. If you remember what Kinger said, then we understand that every character can create literally anything inside the system, and since Pomni has mastered this skill
I'm
perfectly,
just having fun right now.
she's going to try to teach the others to do something similar. Of course, this won't really move them closer to finding a way out, but in that case, the characters will at least be able to create conditions where they can feel somewhat comfortable in the digital circus. You gotta admit, coming up with anything when everything around you is partially destroyed is going to be pretty hard. Thanks to her abilities and personality, Pomni will once again show herself as a leader and lead the others forward. The problem is, she barely knows anything about Kane, about the digital circus, and about C&A, and that's where Kinger is going to play an important role. At first glance, it might seem like Kinger is to blame for all of this, since he was the one
Something
who
random.
attacks. But if you dive a bit deeper into the code, it becomes clear that Kinger really isn't at fault here, and we already talked about this in one of the
Yeah,
previous
Bubble killed him.
episodes. Kinger will be able to calmly explain everything, and I'm sure that won't be anything
He's watching something
wrong,
random on
but
YouTube right
actually
now. I have to
explain
watch.
something else.
It's something about the Amazing Digital Circus.
Right now, the digital circus is basically a dark space where Kinger feels comfortable and is able to control his thoughts with actions. Plus, for everyone else, because he really does know way more about the digital circus than the others.
I did look up.
It feels like what he shares
All I see is my poster of Hyde,
what this
and the television, the clock, and a poster,
knows the foundation
and the television antenna.
how Kane works, knows where C&A might have left clues to an exit. He just needs a bit more time to remember all of it. Kinger is going to take on several important roles at once. He'll be the main kind of tool for
So yeah, I'm just having fun right now.
problem and a potential
Just relaxing, having fun talking to you guys, and
literally anyone down, even in the most
doing this for a little bit. With the car show today, had a fun time at the car show. Next week is going to be extremely busy.
Zubul and Gangle and everything happening
Next week, I'm very, very busy next
in
week.
the background. That doesn't mean they're not important
This year, I'll be busy all next week.
to fill the story. Not at all. But I feel
So
like
yeah,
the show creators are
next week I'm extremely busy, and I'm not joking.
Pomni and Kinger. I
I
absolutely
have
love
like,
these characters.
just see here.
There's a video coming soon where
Huh?
I break them down in detail and
Huh?
talk about what's going to happen to them.
Huh?
Today, let's quickly go
Huh?
over them in
Huh?
the context of
Let's see
episode
here.
9. For a long time,
Hey, Paul.
Agatha's
Yes, see here. Next Sunday, Sawyer. A meeting. Up something starts with a Z. Work. Something starts with a Z. Car show. work, a retirement party. Z, I got like 10 things to do next week. And I am going to be wore out. The channel is going to get a workout next week. An extreme workout next week. So yeah, I'm going to tell you now. Next week, guys, the channel is going to get a workout. An extreme workout. I'm going to be exhausted next week. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to be exhausted next week. I'm going to be very busy. Yeah, so according to my schedule, I'm going to be extremely busy. Very busy. Which I don't mind being busy. It's just that officially, my on season officially starts next week. Or I should say, officially started today. Because today was the dust off of Minden, Michigan. I made 3 videos, and that's it. This rest of the week, I can just be lazy, but not lazy. You know what I mean? I don't have to go back to work till Wednesday. I'm going to DP. I'm going to DP tomorrow, like I usually do, and that's about it. I'm going to the diner tomorrow, like I usually do, and that's about it. But yeah, it's going to be very busy.
Who's always positive. But the more we learned about her past,
So yeah, next week I'm going to be very busy.
perception of being important to someone comes from her real life. In episode 8, Regatha and Pomni have a great relationship, and I'm sure that's going to continue in episode 9, no matter what.
I should shave that down.
Support her friend in everything and won't doubt her decisions for a second. We're also going to get a more
So yeah, we'll see what happens.
relationship with Keener. He was the one who helped Regatha stay stable all this time, and that's exactly.
I'm Spot right back. I'll take care of some real quick. Oh, oh, oh. It's like 7:30. I'm back. I had to take care of a thing.
Why she always speaks about him in a positive way. We also shouldn't forget that Regatha has always tried to keep things calm in the digital circus, and that trend is going to continue in the next episode in case of any conflicts. And as we already figured out, there are definitely going to be some. Zubul is the most straightforward character in the digital circus, and her desire to escape is even stronger than Pomni's. We're going to see Zubul as someone who's ready to do whatever it takes to reach her goal. Even though she looks upset, that's only temporary, and after that we'll be seeing the Zubul we're used to. Gangle is probably the most underrated character in the digital circus. She doesn't get as much screen time as the others, and because of that, it's really hard to say what might happen to her. Most likely she'll just be following her real
Chips on the roof.
and trying to help the others escape the digital circus. First, let's talk about Jax's mental state in the final episode. It will consist of 3 stages, and the first one is anger turning into depression. Over the last 3
I'm not
episodes,
getting you,
Jax
Chip.
has gradually been revealed to us as the most depressed character. Behind the mask of a sarcastic fun guy, there's actually a fragile personality that can't accept the reality of the digital circus. He built himself a made-up world where he.
I'll be right back. you gotta get down, Chip. I'm taking you down, Chip. I'm too heavy for the new garage. I'm too heavy for the garage. Okay, guys, I'm back. I had to take care of some. Now we're back, and yeah, we're gonna be busy this week. Next week, we're gonna be busy.
Started going outside of his usual worldview. Everything started falling apart. Constant fear and ongoing panic attacks. The inability to accept help and support from others. All of this creates that big cocktail of internal issues. After the release of episode 8, we were shown a teaser where Jax is staring at the floor with a blank stare.
So yeah, we're gonna be on for a bit, have a little bit of fun.
Back then, you could assume that Jax would completely cut off all ties with the other characters. After watching the trailer, we were convinced that the first minutes after what happened will be pretty strange for Jax. He doesn't understand what's going on, and after that, he starts actively showing his aggression. The problem is that none of this is going to help either Jax or the others, and the rabbit himself understands that perfectly well. Because of his weak character, he has no choice but to fully sink into his own issues. In the first half of episode 9, Jax's depression will gradually get worse and turn into the second stage, madness. Several scenes from the trailer show us Jax from a very unusual side. His stare and behavior actually create a really unsettling feeling. An empty and insane stare, a forced smile, strange movements, all of this is the result of a severe depressive state combined with negative external factors. Jax's inability to accept help might become the key issue for this character, which will lead to the third stage, destabilization. The trailer shows that in this state, the characters will stay for a long time, which means all the previous stages of Jax's mental breakdown can actually lead to destabilization. In that case, Jax's personality will gradually start to fall apart, so to speak. None of his actions will have any rational explanation, and he'll completely lose control over himself and his mind. We've already seen all of this in Kaufman's case, who also went from a fake cheerful guy to a completely broken personality. His room is a perfect reflection of the destabilization stage he went through, and this image directly references the scene with Jax. We see a very similar environment around the characters, but while Kaufmo is facing his abstracted version, Jax is turned away. It's obvious that this is just a vision and not some actual location with an abstracted monster inside. We already talked about how abstraction is a programmed process that doesn't depend on Kane. Even though Kane can quickly find a glitch in the code while it's still fixable, he can't fully fix the character once they've reached
So yeah, we're just here for some fun.
This process can easily still happen even with Kane deleted. Also, I was really intrigued by this scene from the trailer where Pomni walks into Jax's room and then says his name in a scared and uncertain voice. Obviously, she saw something horrible. However, it's unlikely that it will be abstraction. At this point, I'm sure that none of the current cast will turn into that creature in the Digital Circus finale. However, if in Kaufmo's case he actually became a monster, Jax might have a completely different outcome. I've already suggested a theory that because of a breakdown in his code, Jax might enter a state of what you could call a permanent hallucination, where his life feels just as joyful as it used to. In that case, this scene with Rivet might not be a pleasant memory, but rather something that's happening inside Jax's head right now. Any interest in the amazing digital circus concepts or ideas that Regatha was originally going to be subject to a lot more violence, and she was going to have plush organs. We can see a reference to that answer in one of the older concept arts, where Regatha actually has plush organs. However, the fact that Regatha was supposed to go through even more violence is honestly surprising, because it already feels like she suffers more than anyone else in the digital circus, at least when it comes to external factors. What's your message to the fandom before episode 9 hits? This one's a bit heavy, so be ready for that. Here, Goose once again hints that the finale of the Digital Circus is going to be way more tragic than a lot of people expect. Remember that same The Other Choice. Maybe with this answer, Gooseworks is hinting that several characters in one of the scenes of episode 9 will have to make a choice that will determine the future of all the circus residents. And judging by everything, that choice won't be easy at all, and they might have to choose between something terrible and something insanely terrible. From one to woke, how woke is Jax? That's a really complicated and nuanced question. Honestly, I don't even know what to add here, but I'd be really interested to hear your answer to this question. Send a meme that perfectly pictures you after episode 9. Goose responded with a pretty funny image. It's a scene from Smiling Friends where we see Glep and kids messing with him.
Hi.
Gooseworks associates herself with Glep. She's basically overwhelmed by everything related to the digital circus. While the kids represent fans who keep asking about the digital circus whenever they get the chance, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, and when something doesn't go their way, they start real drama, like what happened before the release of episode 5. Of course, this isn't about all fans, since most people were just following updates and quietly waiting for each new episode. But that insane popularity and constant pressure from the audience is what, in my opinion, made Goose genuinely tired of the digital circus. What do you personally think all the characters' names would be in the real world? All I've heard is Regatha would be Agatha and Jax is Jack, but I think those are very basic. I've known their real names from the beginning. Some people have figured out Kinger's real name. I think I've only seen one person guess Pomni's name. I think I saw someone guess Zubal's name for the wrong character, and I've seen one person guess Regatha's name, but that's all so far. This is one of the most interesting answers, cause it reveals several details at once. Even though Goose didn't confirm it directly, she clearly hinted that Grant is actually Kinger's.
Zero is 5 times more attractive to flies, working 24/7 to kill 99.9% of bugs trapped, with no odor and no mass.
Toyota is all about the power of choice, with more electrified hybrid choices and more all-wheel drive choices than any other brand. Now, you can take
I really want to do that one video, but I'm not going to be able to do it on this channel.
Toyotas. Toyota, let's go places. Come here, this.
Stay here, guys. Just checking something real quick here.
At Michigan,
I'm not trying to be rude enough, guys. Just trying to look at something real quick here.
but we did win Best Lawyers in America, like several times. We don't do it for the honors. Law firm,
13, 12,
because you love people.
10.
Because you care. Through the case and even after. Wow. Should I put the stats on the screen there? Yes. We're proud of our wins, but what really matters are yours. If you've been injured in an accident, we can help.
His real name, while at some point someone had guessed the characters' names, but apparently it didn't really spread because a lot of people probably saw it as just another wrong theory. This answer also finally puts an end to the credibility of that so-called leak. Unfortunately, it's fake. How do you feel about people leaking frames or parts of episodes of the amazing digital circus? Nobody's ever leaked anything real except for me, so I don't care. Honestly, this is pretty obvious because all those shocking leaks people tried to pass off as the original were seen as fake by fans from the start. But there's another point here that matters more. It's clear that before episode 9 drops, we're going to see a lot more leaks being discussed in the digital circus community. Some of them will look pretty believable, like this one for example, but now we know for sure that the next wave of leaks won't have anything to do with the final episode. Looking back on the show, what are you most proud of? Every time I've hurt people. Considering how much of that we've seen throughout the 8 episodes, it's actually easy to believe Goose is proud of that. Now that we're near the end of the show's run, are there any
Ding.
HMC designs you would want to go back and change? I'd make Gummy Goo a little hotter. Even though this character is a side one, he still managed to stick in the hearts of pretty much every digital circus fan. And Goose herself has said many times that he's one of her favorite characters. So it's not surprising that she chose his design. But what's your favorite outfit you've ever put the TADC characters in? I like putting Jax in dresses because I'm a bad person. Jax and his outfits have been a whole meme in the digital circus community for a while.
What's wild is there's a whole generation of people who have no clue that what used to stand in this little area on South Bend South Side was Scottsdale Mall. I know, a mall, there's thousands of malls,
I remember it.
thousands of malls across the country.
I did a video on it a few years ago on my YouTube channel.
Tree. But those folks my age and older probably agree with me that, man, there was just something magical about Scottsdale Mall. If you know, you know.
Here it's important to remember an older answer from Goose, where she said that
There's a goose there that I don't want to tick off.
Even though Bubble behaved like a
What's
virus,
wild is there's a whole generation of people who have no clue that what used to stand in this little area on South Bend South Side was Scottsdale Mall. I know, a mall, there's thousands of malls across the country, but those folks my age and older probably agree with me that, man, there was just something magical about Scottsdale Mall. If you know, you know.
From the very beginning,
Most tracks have one
the digital circus was one of the core themes.
identity. This Indiana Speedway has had to reinvent itself more than once. In Plymouth, Indiana, the gates first opened in the spring of 1952. The original builders leased 16 acres and carved out a
The idea of escape got back into Pommy's head, and as a result, spread to everyone else. But then this happened.
I remember Scottsdale Mall. I did video on Scottsdale Mall a few years ago.
Circus. However, that idea
It's one of the most popular videos.
into the characters' minds, which is what led to the events of episode 8, where they tried to find another way to solve this problem. The idea of temporarily shutting down Kane led to catastrophic and possibly
Yep, remember Scottsdale Mall.
Kane disappeared. The digital
Wish Scottsdale Mall was still around.
dark and half-destroyed structure. Any wrong move
Uh-oh.
leading to a character ending up inside the void, and that's actually dangerous. In the pilot episode, we saw that once Pomni got there, her consciousness basically shut off, and only thanks to Kane she was able to come back. The void is actually a pretty interesting kind of system zone of the digital circus. To be more precise, the digital circus and absolutely all the territory around it, any world created by Kane, all of that is part of the void. In episode 8, Kinger told us that the digital circus wasn't something created by C&A. They were developing a creative AI, which we know as Kane, and were gradually feeding him certain knowledge, including things related to a circus. That's why once inside the system, Kane created the digital circus and everything around it himself, and that's exactly why it was partially destroyed right after Kane disappeared. It's important to understand that Kane didn't create this entire system, he was placed inside it. All of this leads us to the idea that absolutely no one can control what happens to the characters inside the void, and the only thing you can do is bring them back to a so-called safe zone where their consciousness can actually function. Going back to one of the scenes from episode 7, we remember this.
King is an AI.
Yeah, I think we all know.
An AI specifically created to keep your minds active.
We see clear confirmation of this in that same scene from the pilot, and this is where things get really interesting. If one of Kane's roles was to preserve the lives and functionality of the characters, then after his disappearance, no one will be able to save them if they end up in the void. In that same pilot episode, we were shown how after wandering through the void for a long time, we end